Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Leslie Bytel, and welcome to the Live with Leslie show. And guys, I'm really excited for what we have in store for you today, especially if you are a practitioner and you are looking for more practical ways to help your clients to better manage their therapeutic diets, right? We all know sometimes the challenge is with the implementation, especially with those clients that are super busy. They have multiple children, and maybe even those that are kind of struggling with their confidence in the kitchen, like really all the above. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And specifically, we're going to zero in on managing your patient's blood sugar with ModifyHealth. So lots of good stuff in store for you today. So before we kick off, I do want to introduce our guests. So we have Tracy Scott, and you can see Tracy here. And we also have Binetta Battu behind the scenes. And you just can't see her. We don't have her video camera on. A little bit of a tech issue today. So so I'd love to hear a little bit about your backstory, actually both of your stories in terms of what brought you to ModifyHealth, just a little bit about your background. So why don't we start with you, Tracy?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Leslie. We're so excited to be here. A little bit about my background. So I work with ModifyHealth. I actually found ModifyHealth as a provider myself. I am a health coach. I worked in a functional medicine setting for some time, and really very aligned with what you were saying. I had a lot of, patients who really had to make some modifications to their diet. We wanted to try different things, but it was really hard for them to bridge that gap between a provider recommendation and actually taking action on it. So I was able to use ModifyHealth with a lot of my patients. They really offer a wide variety of meals, low FODMAP meals, gluten-free, Mediterranean, heart healthy, diabetes friendly, carb conscious, etc. So I was always really able to find an offering that worked well with what we were trying to accomplish with a patient. And I was just seeing fabulous results. People were really able to have meals ready to go, and it just made it easy for them. And then they started feeling better, and they were really able to free up some mental space to figure out how to do this diet with the help of our meals. So I was so excited to then get involved myself with ModifyHealth and really help work with providers, with RDs, with functional medicine providers, acupuncturists, chiropractors, health coaches, you name it, to really help them understand how we can partner together and get our meals to their patients to help with success.
Amazing. So it sounds like you as a health coach were recommending ModifyHealth to your own patients and clients.
So I've known about them from some time. So I was really happy to, work with them in this capacity, to kind of be on the other side of things, and just getting providers to obviously know about our services and help them easily be able to refer patients over to our meals and use our healthcare platform.
So good. All right. Awesome. And let's go to Binetta. So Binetta,
hi everyone.
A little bit about your backstory.
Absolutely. Thank you. And yes, I'm so excited to be here. It's awesome to be able to talk about what we do, and then also just share with the dietitian community and with the practitioners out there. So I'm a registered dietitian. I've been a dietitian for over 20 years. I've done a variety of things. I've been a consultant dietitian, worked in industry with medical nutrition for many years. I did public health with WIC. And then more recently, in the last recent years, I went back to private practice. I went into integrative health. I worked with a practice with a physician, and really wonderful space to be able to help patients and work at the root cause of things using food as medicine, which is amazing. It just goes back to why I even became a dietitian in the first place. So what was great about when I started working with ModifyHealth is I always looked for options and resources for my patients to have, convenience, ease, and then working with different medical diagnoses where, food is probably the root where you can actually fix some issues and actually stem and and treat symptoms. And, with PCOS, with autoimmune disorders, with gut issues, a lot of that comes from the gut and stems from the gut, right? So we're looking at how diet can help you. And I was not familiar with ModifyHealth. And so that was interesting when I came across the company and they were looking to recruit out on the West Coast, because I'm West Coast based, I'm in California. I was like, how was I not aware of this for my patients? And so I really wanted to help them build brand awareness, to help them, get their provider footprint out there so that more patients were able to access this type of resource. Because a lot of patients they get overwhelmed with diet and they don't want to figure out how they have to change their whole pantry and their whole refrigerator, and it's too overwhelming, and they end up failing and just not being able to help themselves, right? So it's almost like they always look for hand holding on how can I, tell me what I need to eat and I'll just do it. Tell me what I need to go buy. And so I think food delivery and then meal prep is always a great adjunct to whatever they're doing. So I feel that this company has a lot of value for that. And the fact that they have a lot of varieties for diabetes, for low FODMAP, for gut friendly, for heart friendly, renal friendly, it's awesome. So I'm really pleased to be able to be here today and share what we do and how we can help the patient community and the provider community as well. So thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Yeah. Now I got to share that I have been following ModifyHealth for quite a while. And I think maybe a couple of years ago, we did a Facebook Live with someone from ModifyHealth. However, I believe it was only the FODMAP. I recall really just hearing about the FODMAP diet. So it sounds like things have really expanded and shifted at ModifyHealth. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I heard you say, mention all these other therapeutic diets, which is pretty exciting. So you've grown clearly beyond the FODMAP diet, which, by the way, oh my gosh, that's got to be a really, really difficult diet to, manage at home. So sounds like a great place to start. But yeah, tell us a little bit about, that expansion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really started exactly what you just said as a low FODMAP meal delivery service. And, some of our founders, they were in that gastrointestinal space and they were just hearing over and over that, what can we help you with? What's the best? What do you need? And they needed help with low FODMAP diet. A lot of providers, they know about the low FODMAP diet. They're happy to tell their patients to try it, but the buck kind of stops there. So we really saw an opportunity to partner and create, a company to really serve the needs of those patients that needed low FODMAP. It's a very confusing and tricky diet. So that was really the bread and butter. We are partners with Monash University, which is obviously, for expert on low FODMAP diet. And so we are the only low FODMAP Monash certified meal delivery in the country. So that's something that we've seen a lot of success with. And from there, we really value our relationships with our providers. And we're always asking, what do you need? What are your patients? What are you looking to accomplish with your patients? What issues are you having? And the Mediterranean diet was an obvious next fit. It's just a really clean and healthy way to eat for a wide variety of disease states, and also just for people looking to optimize their health in general. So we were low FODMAP and Mediterranean then for a while. And then again, out of provider demand, we had a lot of people saying, yeah, I do have people with IBS, and I do have people with, other gastrointestinal disorders, but they also have rising A1C, and they also, are obese or have type 2 diabetes or other cardiometabolic dysfunction. And so out of that, we saw really a need to expand into diabetes friendly meals, carb conscious meals, like I mentioned, heart friendly meals. So we're always we just are so grateful for our providers and the feedback we get, because it really helps drive our decisions in terms of what we want to offer to our consumers.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and to piggyback off what Tracy was saying, a lot of times, as providers, we're seeing, patients that have comorbidities. So that was another evolution as to why it was a natural evolution as to why certain diets were put onto the platform. But, with Mediterranean, with weight loss, it's just a good, partner with that. It's like a natural fit of looking how to, have patients, follow a healthy diet, but also lose weight if they needed to, if they had fatty liver. So there's just a lot of, it just was a no-brainer into getting these more expanded diets onto the platform as well.
Totally.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about that because I mean, how often do you just see a person with one thing, right?
Yeah.
I know.
It's kind of rare.
It's,
Usually they've got, like you said, comorbidities, a lot of things going on. So on the platform, all right, so hypothetically, what if I'm your patient and I've got a bunch of things going on? Let's say I need to be on the FODMAP and I need to watch my blood sugar. So how would I manage like those comorbidities in the platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. Binetta,
You know
you
what
want
I'm
to start with
saying?
that? Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think when, even just looking at a patient overall, you want to triage what's the most important thing that's really
Okay.
happening and it's, ailing them. So I think with the low FODMAP, with the gut issues, if you're really having, presenting with those IBS symptoms and they're very, they're actually debilitating or they're causing issues, the A1C, I believe with all of the diets, you're going to have, they're well portioned in caloric, content, and they're also nutritionally balanced. So you are naturally going to have, more increased blood sugar control with the low FODMAP diet in general. But, let's say with those symptoms, if your IBS is ailing you more so, I would say we would direct patients to go towards the low FODMAP in the beginning so that they can get some control over their symptoms. And then our clinical advisors, based on the feedback that we give, because that's the nature of the platform, is to partner with the providers to give them feedback as to the success or the compliance and the what's happening with the patients to see if they're getting better. If they're getting better, it's been a couple of weeks, then we might transition them over to a carb friendly or a diabetic friendly diet. So it just depends on partnering with the provider to see where they're at and where the patient's success is and if they're improving. But I think in the case that you're talking about right now, we'd start you on a low FODMAP and, provide those meals. Tracy, if you have any other.
Yeah, that I totally agree. And I would also add that a lot of our meals have overlap. So we purposely design them in that way. So we could help you figure out, okay, let's say you're a dietitian that I'm partnering with. Hey, Tracy, can you help me figure out what are some meals that are low FODMAP and also diabetes friendly? So that's something that we could, work to help you triage as well. So because you're exactly right. There's patients that with more than one thing going on, there usually are. So we do try to make our meals fall into different categories as well. So if we wanted to do our best to select options that were both, that's totally possible too.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about how providers are, how they're utilizing ModifyHealth to, again, to help them to successfully implement the therapeutic diet strategy, right? Which is so often the challenge. So, yeah, what do you think about that? Tell us a little bit about how providers are utilizing ModifyHealth.
Yeah, I think they're utilizing them in a variety of ways. I think a big way, especially providers I work with, a lot of the RD community, the functional medicine community, we're always looking to food, right? That's kind of a foundational piece. Before we jump to supplements and medication, it's food, right? We're looking at food and how is the food you're eating affecting you? And how can we figure out what's going to work best for your body and what's, maybe not the best option for your body while we're in this healing phase right now. So I see our providers use our services really because they know, it's kind of what I was saying in the beginning. They see it's so obvious and clear sometimes that you need someone to make some modifications to their diet and they're not really sure how. So it's very simple for a provider to say, listen, we want to try to get your blood sugar under control. Let's try some of these meals. We know they're, nutritionally balanced, as Binetta said. For our diabetes friendly meals, we follow the American Diabetes Association guidelines. We know there's, 30 to 60 grams of carbs per meal, less than 25 grams of fat. We try to include high fiber foods, the non-starchy vegetables, avocados, beans, other sources of protein as well. So kind of teaching people what they need to do, how they need to have this balanced plate. And then this is the tool. This is almost equivalent to your provider going home with you and saying, okay, let me help you and get in the kitchen and cook. But not most people are willing to move in with someone and do that. So they can, they might have their own lives. So they can then say, try these meals. Let's see if this helps get some of your issues under control. Let's see if you can lose weight with them. Let's see if you can, not have that afternoon energy dip. But I'm using the blood sugar balance as an example. It's just that great tool to say, second to me coming home and cooking for you, here's exactly a balanced plate that you could have. And of course, you could always add to it, if you're trying to get someone to have, a salad before their meal because you want, to balance the blood sugar further, or you want to increase protein. But it's a great way to say, here, this is what you need to have. And, do this for 2 weeks, let's touch base. You can, maybe their office, they don't work from home. They want to have these meals they bring to lunch. Fine. That takes away any of the figuring out, well, where am I going to order from? Or maybe they want it for every meal for a period of time. Our menu is, everything's modifiable in terms of you can increase your meals, decrease your meals, cancel, pause at any time. So I think providers are really just using them as a way to really just jumpstart and ensure that the patient has the tools they need at home to try some of these modifications that they're discussing with their provider.
Okay, I love that. So let's talk a little bit about how ModifyHealth can actually help patients with compliance, especially the busy on the go kind of, the busy lifestyle, students, parents, professionals, whatever the case may be. Talk to us a little bit about how ModifyHealth can really help with that whole compliance challenge.
Yep. Binetta, you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah. I think, the idea behind it takes away the excuse that we don't have the time or we don't have, the energy. A lot of us, I know for me too, it takes a lot. Sometimes at the end of the day, you don't want to prep your meals. You don't want to have to worry about that as a parent or as a partner, or even just a single person working, or, having a social life. You sometimes you put yourself last. And I see it all the time with patients. They just, they have every excuse in the world. This allows patients and people to just have an option, a convenience option, right? And having it be, knowing that the meals are prepared, they're portioned out, they're easy to prepare once you get them. It's like less than a couple minutes that you just put them in either the microwave or you can put them in the oven. They're oven safe. And you can actually plate them if you wanted to make them, more palatable for you to just have more self-care as you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that part is there. We have a lot of variety with what we have in our menu. So, have options. So it's not just, like 4 or 5 meals that you have and okay, that I'm kind of tired of this. It gives you some, variety and options to have. You have the confidence with the company to know that you're getting organic, materials, that it's chef prepared. It's higher quality food. No, all
So it's all
fresh
organic.
foods. Yeah, a lot of organic ingredients. And I think that we have, what else? The idea that it's not canned beans that are being put in or canned vegetables.
Right.
It's fresh vegetables that are put in there. There is the idea too that they are frozen in the original once they're prepared, but they're flash frozen, and that's to help with a couple things, to keep them, keep the temperature and keep the microbial count down, but also to help with histamine response down, which is important with gut issues. Yeah, but so there's a lot of different things that help with compliance. In fact, and the fact that you have this meal that is going to be, however it helps your medical condition, but also it comes from a place where it's healthy foods, and it's just takes out that excuse of I don't have to cook anymore, or I don't need to go to the grocery store. So I feel like that helps patients in a very wordy way. I'm sorry, but it helps them.
It's
just
great. It's
take that.
No, you're totally right. It just knocks down that barrier, that maybe
Yeah.
final barrier of kind of like a barrier of entry, if you will, into trying something new. I totally agree, Binetta.
Yeah. And the
change
other
is
thing
hard,
Yeah.
right? Change is
Yeah.
really, really
Change is hard. Habits are hard to change.
It's
So
it is. I mean, let's just call it. It's hard for us as professionals, right?
Yes.
And I mean, truly it is.
Yeah.
Just changing diet and lifestyle, I really think is one of the hardest things. So
Yes.
yeah,
And
just
it get
having a solution. Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
And I think patients get overwhelmed too when they come into a clinician's office, or they I'm sure with the dietitians that see patients that come from their doctor's office, I was told I need to do this. I don't even know what to do. So it just gives
Right.
you that one-stop shop of like, okay, at least I get to start here. And the other thing we were talking about earlier is, this is just, it gives you a prepared meal. But one of the nice things about Modify Health is they give you resources and different like recipe cards, because the
Oh,
idea is to empower the patient eventually to be able to do it for themselves, right? There's
right.
cooking classes. We offer classes to, down the road, we have one coming up where the dietitian's going to actually prepare one of our meals so that they know how to do it on their own. I
Right.
mean, you don't have to. You can eat
Okay.
them all the time, but if you wanted to and you wanted to figure out how to do that yourself, we have resources for you there as well, which is nice. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask about like the patient experience, right?
Hmm.
And the education, if you guys provide some of the education behind the therapeutic diet, like can you speak a little bit to that? What resources are available for both the practitioner as well as the end user, the patient?
Totally. Well, I mean, from the patient perspective, and I can kind of get into this a little bit deeper when we speak about how we can, work a little bit more with our providers. But one way that providers send patients over to us is, we have a link that we use, a HIPAA compliant link, where any provider can, send us their patient name and number and kind of what they want them to do. Hey, I have this patient, I want them to follow low FODMAP or Mediterranean, whatever you want it to be. And we have a dedicated team that will call them within 24 hours and answer any questions they have. So they might be like, oh, I have to follow FODMAP. I'm really confused. How do I use this Monash app? What do I do? And they can walk them through not only kind of just some basic guidelines, but they also will help that they can sit and help them order meals, pick out meals to their preferences. Our meals are also filterable by other allergies and intolerances. So by, of course, we don't cover everything in the book, but some of the heavy hitters like dairy, and all of our meals are already gluten-free, egg, soy, fish, meat, etc. So we have those, options as well. So our care team can kind of just help someone get more education and information about the meals and the offerings. We also offer a FIT program, which is we have some in-house dietitians as well. So if you don't have a dietitian to work with, we have that option as well to partner with you. We're not only just meals, but with other dietitians as well. We really do consider ourselves a healthcare company. We really don't want it to be so transactional. As Binetta mentioned, we offer cooking demos. We have other, resources that we send to our patients on a regular basis, other meal ideas, lists of pantry items, and we're always kind of crafting new ways to offer offer values to our customers. And then from the provider standpoint, similarly, we don't want it to be such a transactional relationship. So while we are asking providers, we want them to, of course, send their patients over for help. We also provide them with marketing, co-branding marketing materials. We provide them, so if I create a discount code or enroll someone in our affiliate program, which I can speak about later, but I create co-branded materials for them to use. We also offer resources that they can, provide to their patients. I think providers are always looking to add value to their sessions as well. So just try to save them some time to give them, a one-sheeter about the Mediterranean diet or low FODMAP or some, balanced plate options, what have you. We also offer webinars, for credits. We have various, speakers that come. We have one coming up that I can, send you the link for at the end of August with Patsy Castos that we're really excited about. So we want to really offer value to the community and partner. And we want feedback. Like I was saying before, what we offer is the ability to help be a change maker too, to say, hey, I'm working with you guys. This is great. This is not, or this is what I need. And we, as I said earlier, we take provider feedback so seriously. I think our providers see that and appreciate that as well. So I'm sure I'm forgetting some things, but that's a brief overview.
Yeah. And Leslie, just to kind of go back to the patient experience, what I was really impressed with when I started with the company is that, the customer care service team, they're very dedicated to helping patients
Oh yeah.
and meeting them where they're at. So I think there was like, we share stories weekly on like how we've helped patients and how we've impacted lives, and, what they share back with us. We value like getting that feedback from them. And, when they share their success stories or their, stories of how we've helped them, it's like, it means a lot to us as a company.
Yeah.
And we all like, we celebrate that and we share that. I mean, we've had situations where there's elderly patients that may not be able to get the delivery, so we've sent Uber deliveries to
Oh
take
my
it to their
goodness.
door. Yeah, they
Amazing.
go above and beyond, which,
They
so I
really
think
do.
the patient experience is very important to us, because I believe the founders, I mean, some of them, a lot of people in our company even suffer from like some of the things that would require a diet like this. So they
Okay.
just are very sensitive to that. We're all very mindful of that. And, and the mission of the company is to use food as medicine. So I feel like our first and foremost priority is the patient and, and the providers. Now, we really want to partner with them so that care is the most utmost important thing. And so that's important to us as a company. So the feedback is important, good or bad, because we're always striving to be the best that we can be. So
Right.
I feel like even as a provider with my provider hat on, I appreciate that, because patients, they need a lot of hand-holding. Clients need a lot of hand-holding, and their experience, if they are feeling better and doing better, then we're doing our job as providers. And then also as a person who is a patient and my family, like if they're feeling better, it's just quality of life. So I feel like that's great and a goal
Let's talk
for
a
all
little
of us.
bit. I love all that. That's so good. So I mean, it's way more than a food delivery company. That is
Absolutely.
what it's
We
Oh
don't
yeah.
even call ourselves that. We are in the healthcare.
Okay.
We're a healthcare company in the business of making people healthier, right? It's so
Yeah.
more than a singular transaction for us. It really is.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about like the food quality and the taste. How is it?
Well, we got to get you some meals if you haven't tried them yet.
I haven't.
Oh
I
gosh.
love
I'll
that.
take
So
care
let's
of you,
talk
don't
about
worry.
that. All right. That
Yes.
sounds great.
So we really try to cater to a wide variety of palates. We have some meals, we have like a gluten-free mac and cheese and barbecue chicken that, so we try to make things, a lot of people, it's very emotional when you're asking them to change their diet. So we try to have meals that it's like, hey, actually you can still have this meal that you love, but maybe it's in a slightly more, maybe there's a little more vegetables and protein in it than you used to have it. And maybe it's gluten-free, or there's, less dairy or what have you, but we try to make meals that are comfortable and familiar for people while also being obviously healthy and balanced and fit into the different, criteria that we're advertising for. But the meals, they're they're flavorful, they're balanced. We try to use a wide variety of, spices and ingredients, and everything also has medicinal purposes behind it, right? Like spices are anti-inflammatory, and we obviously want to use high quality ingredients that are going to be healing and give to the body, not take from the body. So a lot of our, vegetables are organic. Our meats, we don't use any antibiotics or hormones. Our fish are all sustainably farmed with the highest sustainability rating. So quality really is important to us. As Binetta mentioned, all the meals are flash frozen, and they come in a kind of portioned out container, and they're kind of sealed, which looks a little funky sometimes, but it does not impact the flavor and quality. We just do that to really maximize freshness and maximize the flavor. And it's like a restaurant. You might try some meals and love some meals. You might try some meals and maybe you don't order that one again and you try something else. But overall, I find that there really is something for everyone. And like, Binetta was saying, our customer care team is amazing. If there's something you don't like, let us know. We will find you something else. So we really do care about, as we are a healthcare company, food is medicine. The food has to be of high quality. So that is, of course, very, very important and front of mind for all of us.
And what about the packaging? Just curious about the packaging.
Yeah, so our packaging, it comes in a container, and we actually recently upgraded our packaging too. So there's like divisions in the container. So, the protein might be separate from the carb and separate from the vegetable. And it does have a a plastic covering over it where, like I said, it's
Okay.
kind of vacuum sealed in. We try to use minimal packaging, eco-friendly. All of our shipping is free nationwide. So we try to, utilize as minimal of a footprint from a packaging perspective as we can. Binetta, anything to add on the packaging front? We really try to keep it simple and straightforward and only give what is needed.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would add, I mean, all of those things are there, and the packaging itself it's microwavable as well as oven safe friendly. So
Okay.
you can have both options. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, you got me sold for sure. Definitely. So now that you guys have, I think Tracy, you and I had talked a while back about my quest to like really stabilize blood sugar. No
Yeah.
history of diabetes. 1C is good, but
Yeah.
still became very aware of the fluctuations.
Yeah.
And really trying to make an effort there.
Yeah.
Even that kind of a change, honestly, is not as simple as you would think.
Absolutely. And
So,
it takes preparation, it takes
It
foresight. It really does. And you want to know what's going to give you the biggest kind of return on your time investment there. And so, is it really adding those more greens, having more protein, taking the walk after the meal? Like, what is it going to be? And obviously when you work with your provider and you eat the right foods and utilize, I know you did a Facebook Live about continuous glucose monitors. That's a great tool. I use those. I absolutely love using that tool. But yeah, I mean, I think when you can test out different foods and see how your body responds, and our services make it really easy to do so with the right variety and optionality. You can test out different foods based on your own individualized needs and see what's going to work the most for you and help you to really optimize your blood sugar. It's not just like you said, your A1C was okay, you didn't have type 2 diabetes, but that doesn't mean that what you're doing is working perfectly. You always want to be looking to optimize what you're doing. And just because managing blood sugar is really the key to keeping inflammation at bay and mitigating your risk for all these other lifestyle driven disease. That doesn't have to happen. You don't have to get type 2 diabetes. You don't have to become obese. You don't have to get cardiovascular disease. So it's just such an important topic. And I'm so happy that we can help the cause with our meals.
Right. That's
right. And I think one of the call outs that I would say with our meals, because, we started off, like you said, with the low FODMAP, but with the evolution now and the offerings of diabetic friendly, that's specific, you would have that, but we have a carb conscious one. So for someone like you, who's not necessarily diabetic, you're not looking to really control, you're not maybe on medication, but the carb conscious, you're taking out the grains even. There's it's not as grain forward. So you're going to have more of the protein, more of the vegetables. So it's not, it's lending towards you going towards that route. And so you can have more control over your diet that way. So let's say you want to add, some type of carbohydrate somewhere else into your diet. You can sprinkle it in, but you have these offerings that are just going to be something that you have that's just the baseline of protein and vegetables. So you're getting those complex carbs. So I think that simplifies it for someone like you that wants to maybe go down that route of like looking and managing carbs to control blood sugars. But I also think, I'm sure I didn't get a chance to check out your live. I'm going to go back and check that out right after. But with those CGMs, you can see that certain foods for you might cause a spike where certain foods on others don't. So you really have to kind of see what your sweet spot is, right? So with these, with our meals, I think what's nice is that you're able to pick and choose whatever you want. And then if you needed to take something out, you could add more carbs to something or more grains to a nut diet. You could pick that, or you could not. If you wanted to do plant-based, you could even choose to do something like that too. So it just gives you some options without having to go to the grocery store and spend a ton of money.
Oh my gosh. And time.
Yeah.
So in my own journey over the past, 6 months or so, going, doing like, Saturday's grocery shopping, Sunday is food prep. It's like, that's the whole weekend.
Oh my God. It takes so much time.
Like, I travel quite a bit. Like if I am not home on the weekend, Monday hits, I'm like, I'm out of luck, as they say.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Well, you're doing a great thing for your body though, by really paying attention to that and
Yeah.
getting those insights for yourself. So I give you a lot of credit.
trying, trying to, follow my own advice, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All we can do is try.
Trying to walk my talk. Now I do
Yeah.
that in, pretty much all areas. But I did recognize they probably could use a little tune up in the diet,
Yeah.
intake area. So
It's always a journey. Health is not a
yes,
destination. It's a journey. So
that's
you're
right.
doing it. You're doing the journey.
So let's talk a little bit about, maybe next steps for our audience, right?
Yeah.
Those practitioners that are like, I'm interested.
Mhm.
What's the next step for them?
Yeah, so I'll talk about how I work with my practitioners, and then Benita,
Okay.
you can step in with yours. But for me, like let's chat, right? Like reach out. I want to hear about your patient population. I want to hear about your specific pain points. But on the macro level, we have a few ways that we could work. I'd mentioned that HIPAA provider link, right? So that's wonderful for, you don't have a lot of time necessarily. You have a patient that's going to ask a lot of questions. They're not so tech friendly. You can send them over to us and we can help get them set up. If they decide not to do it, no problem. But that's a kind of option. That's one option. Another option that our providers really, especially our I think what a lot of your listeners will be really interested in is we have an affiliate program. So I'm able to create a unique link to you, and we can offer you a commission for every customer that you send over. And that obviously is just an extra, where everyone's trying to grow their business, and
Right.
it's just an extra, there's nothing wrong with an
Revenue
extra
stream.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with an additional revenue stream.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of my favorite topics. I actually just finished recording a YouTube video on how to generate additional revenue streams. So
yeah,
Love it. That's awesome.
totally. Especially when your provider seeing one-on-one, there's only, you only have so much time. There's only so much of you. So this is just a great way to kind of have an additional revenue stream, especially if it's something that fits so well into your practice. If you're talking about this already with people, how to make their lives easier to get them food, it makes sense. You might as well get some additional revenue off of it for yourself too. So we can discuss that. We also create custom discount codes. So let's say, we give you can offer your clientele a percentage off of, their first order, makes a little bit of the barrier to entry a little bit lower, makes it a little bit easier for them to try with the discount. And you can just do that. You can just do the affiliate program. You can do both. And when you do both, if someone uses your discount code or someone uses your link, you will get the credit for that. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but I offer customized marketing materials, so they have something to send, whether they print it out and hand it, or most people these days are attaching it to their follow up. And we're also happy to offer samples when applicable if someone hasn't tried the meals and they want to see how the process works for themselves. But those are the main ways that I work with providers to help make that referral process really easy and help benefit everyone, help benefit the patient, help benefit the provider, and help benefit us. And it's really and it doesn't really feel like it's a sell. I don't want to say it's an easy sale. It just makes sense. It's just a perfect synergy. Like you're an RD talking about nutritional therapy with your patients. Right. This is a wonderful option for them. And I just want to make it easy where it's something that's so obvious to at least offer to every single patient. So those are really the main ways that I find is easiest to connect with people. And I would love to, of course, give any of your listeners a great discount on being able to provide that a discount to provide to their clientele as well. So I would love to speak with anyone in your community. I happily welcome that.
Yeah. And the only thing,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the only thing I would add to that is we do have an 800 number for those that don't want to use a QR code. We have fax forms for providers that may not want that. And then just to add to what Tracy said is that anyone working in a clinical setting that has like an EMR, like an electronic medical record, we can link it up to that as well. So it's just, we're trying to partner with providers to make it super simple to get patients to be referred, because once it gets through that provider referral, we give feedback to the providers. And I think that's important. Patients can come directly to us too, but we're really looking to get that partnership with the provider. So compliance, is an issue. And so we want to get that at a better rate. So that's the only thing I would add.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
totally.
guys, I just want to share a link with our audience.
Great.
And this is a bit.ly link. So if you're interested in learning more and potentially even getting the process started, you can go to bit.ly/ModifyHealth_Lesli. A little bit long,
Perfect.
but not too bad. Better than the the original link, right?
Yes, yes.
So
We always want to use that. Use
it's
those
like I
URL
wouldn't be able to
shorteners.
articulate that way too long.
Yeah,
So
and you can also enter there to win some free samples and some
good.
awesome
Okay.
Modify Health swag. So we'll get you decked out in all of our fun gear, and
Very fun.
give you some things to have in your office. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. So let me repeat that for everybody in case you missed it. It's a bit.ly. So bit.ly/ModifyHealth_Lesli, Lesli. So and the M, H, and the L are capital. I think it might be case sensitive. I'm not positive for these links, but just in case. And I do have a discount code to share with you as well. And that is to get 30% off your first order. That would be Lesli 30, Lesli 30, all in uppercase. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Should you want to jump in and get the ball rolling,
Yeah,
right? So it sounds
absolutely.
like, so each of you were, so let's say I'm a brand new practitioner, right? So I go to the link that I just mentioned, ModifyHealth_Lesli. What's going to happen next? Like, can you kind of give everyone just a quick walkthrough in terms of what they can anticipate?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're an RD or a health coach or a functional medicine provider, chiropractor, acupuncture, anywhere really in the nation, it's going to come to me, and I'm going to reach out to you. Hopefully we can schedule a quick call or a Zoom, get acquainted with each other, and just chat through, like I mentioned before, what kind of, patients you're looking to serve, and how our meals could be and services could be a good fit. And then of course, walk them through kind of the process if they want to be set up as an affiliate or get a unique discount code. And then they'll get all that follow up from me. We'll get them set up in the system. They'll get a login to a dashboard where they can track all their referrals as well, and track their payments, and really just start to build a relationship together, right? And you'll have me as a resource for any questions or feedback moving forward. And then Binetta, do you want to talk about the providers that you work with?
Yeah, like, so if Tracy, those patients that are people that come, the providers that go to Tracy, and let's say they come out to the West Coast and they need some hand holding there, definitely building that relationship, seeing if we're a good fit, how we can, best service their clients, but just reach out to them and start that dialogue and get set up in the system, get their patients, like if they needed to have a provider code, that they wanted to have discounts, just the same process.
Yeah,
but
and
just
I was just referring, like you work, a lot with our gastroenterologist community, and
yes.
as well. So if there's any gastros out there, Binetta will be very excited to chat with you.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
Love that. Okay, that sounds amazing. All right. Well, as we start to wrap up, any, I guess, final words of wisdom, final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Lesli, I think you asked such great questions and really covered a lot of this. I think, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we really, really, really just love our provider relationships, and we want to continue to grow and build with you to help your patients. So please, reach out and we can talk through, but we really just want to be a resource for you, be a resource for your patients, be a resource for an additional revenue stream, like you mentioned. I think working with us, you'll really see the quality and dedication we have to providing high quality service and food for your patients. So we really just thank you for this opportunity to share something we're both so passionate about with your clientele and with your audience, and hope that this is the start of many wonderful conversations together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way, go ahead.
I would just want to echo the whole idea. I just really appreciate these types of forums. I mean, Leslie, I mean, as a dietitian, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I just think that these types of interactions and like just information sharing among peers is just so important. So I really appreciate that, and I value that. And thank you for inviting us to do this with you, because
Pleasure.
I do value it very much. Thank you.
It was great. Great to get to know each of you a little bit more. And I was going to ask, are you going to be at Fancy?
Yes,
I
you
am.
are you?
Yes, yes, yes. So,
Oh, amazing.
yeah. I am
Yes,
gonna be at
this will
Fancy.
be my first time there, my first time in Denver. So
Oh,
I am ready for it. I'm excited.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool. Well, as a matter of fact, it's kind of a sidebar. My son, who just graduated from Purdue,
Oh, wow.
he's graduated electrical engineering. So we're
Wow.
really proud and excited for him. He, as of this morning, he's on his way to Denver. He's moving to Denver, and he just pulled
Wow.
up, like at 8:30 this morning. So
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah. So I'll be, so I'm definitely going to Fancy. I was planning on going even before he made this decision, but kind of from a personal standpoint,
right.
makes it
Now
even
you're going
more
for 3
exciting.
weeks and moving there.
Yes, now I'm going to get an Airbnb and just, hang out. Much
Yeah.
to his chagrin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like,
No,
time to hit the road.
that's awesome. What made him choose Denver? Does he have job opportunity out there?
A mix of things. So
Yeah,
I think
such
the
great
big
things.
thing is two of his close friends are
Mhm.
there. So yeah, apparently, so he has to take an exam, like a
Mhm.
5-hour, certification exam. So so he's studying for that and looking for a job. In the meantime, he'll figure out a way to make money. I'm not too worried about that.
Well,
So
I think he has a good, I think it might be in his blood too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gotten some
Yeah,
good
well,
training too.
yeah. So so it, Denver just seems like a great place for young professionals. So
It really
yes, we're
does.
excited, but it's just funny. We talk about Denver, and just this morning, 2 hours ago,
There he is.
there
How
he is. So
exciting.
That's
That's
awesome.
very
Yeah, well,
exciting.
we'll have a booth there. So please,
great.
we'll talk offline, but let's make a time
Yes.
to hang and come see us. And for
Yeah.
any other dietitians out there that are coming, please stop by, and we want to
Yeah,
talk to you,
absolutely.
meet you in person. And we're just so excited to, especially for me, I'm based in New York City, but I speak with people all over the country. So I'm just so excited for the opportunity to, see some people face to face, flesh and blood, and just continue to build a relationship and talk about what we're doing. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you in person at Fancy.
Yes.
And anyone else that is planning to go to Fancy, drop me a line. Let me know. I'd love to make a plan, maybe some kind of a meetup or happy hour or something. So
Totally.
line so we can stay in touch.
Yeah.
All right. So have a great rest of your day. Really appreciate you popping in today. And appreciate both of our speakers. Really learned a ton. Thanks to Tracy and Binetta. So, and of course from ModifyHealth. So any questions that you have in the audience, please drop them in the comments. We'll circle back around and help answer those. And looking forward to seeing you same place, same time next week. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.